I am really trying to limit the number of tomato plants I grow this year because I feel like I have always crammed too many plants into each bed, where some may have not performed as well as they should have, and realistically, I also only have so much prime space for tomato plants due to the layout of my garden and where the sun hits. This means I had to really refine my tomato lineup for this year. I haven't started any tomato seeds yet, and so many people I know in colder zones have already started them, but tomato plants from seed can grow really quickly here, and I don't have the space right now for them, so I'm waiting a few more weeks at least. So I do still have some time to make some changes, but I am pretty confident that I have figured out what my 2025 tomato lineup is going to be. Some of my choices really surprised me, but I have my reasons for all of my picks, so let's take a look. First up is my unintentional cross-pollinated tomato. This is a cross between indigo kumquat and banana legs, which I'm calling indigo banana. The plant is still chugging along. It does look a little sad, and I haven't removed it yet because it keeps flowering, but I do have some tomatoes from it that I picked the other day that I can and will save some seeds from. I'm growing it again because I really liked it, and I hope that I can get the same tomato and that it hasn't crossed further. Next up, I have my Sun Gold. I didn't start this one from seed, and I usually don't, since I read that since it's an F1 hybrid that it won't breed true, and I can usually find a cheap plant at my local grocery outlet store for just under $3. But the plant I have here is also still doing okay. Production has slowed, and there's some powdery mildew on the plant from the rain, and obviously the plant doesn't look great since it's been cold, but it's still flowering. So whether this one, like the indigo banana, decides to overwinter or not, I will make sure to have Sun Gold this year. They are just really productive and tasty. For my other tomato plants in my lineup this year, I am revisiting some container and dwarf varieties. I know I said I wanted less plants, but that was in my raised beds, and if I plant more container-friendly varieties, I can move them around as needed, and they won't all be crowded in my raised beds. And some of these I haven't grown in a few years, so I'm giving them all another shot. So we have Geranium Kiss, Patio Choice Yellow, Tiny Tim, Cherry Falls, and then Fuzzy Wuzzy. This one has fuzzy leaves, but I started it late the year I tried it, so I didn't get much from the plant, so I want to try it again this year. Sweet Splash Electra. This is one with variegated leaves, and I loved the flavor. And then Orange Hat. I know I have said in other videos it wasn't that great, but I also didn't give it the best conditions, so I figured I might as well give it another try since it won't be taking up much space anyway. Moving along, we have Thorburns Terracotta. I really like this one, and I still actually have last year's plant in one of my raised beds, and it's actually doing pretty good, but I am probably going to sow another one of these seeds just in case it doesn't take, because it is a really good tomato and my boyfriend really liked it. It was one of his favorites, so that's another reason to grow it again. Black Cherry was one of my absolute favorite tomatoes of all time, and I am going to be growing 2 of these plants this year because it's that good. And then I am going to grow Yellow Stuffer again. I really liked this one. The flavor was good and it was nice and mild, but I also like that it's kind of hollow in the middle. I don't like a tomato with a lot of slime or guts in it, so this one is perfect. Next is Ukrainian Purple. I actually tried to grow this one last year, and it would have been a new one for me last year, but something happened to the plant. It just kind of withered away, and I never even transplanted it into my garden, and it was too late for me to start new seeds, so I'm going to try this one again this year and hope I have better luck. Next is Golden Nugget. The packet does say Yellow Stuffer, and that's because in 2023, Seedgate was a very real thing where many seed companies got seeds mixed up, so the seeds in this pack actually ended up being for Golden Nugget. But I really liked it, and it had good flavor, and it had a good shelf life once picked, so I'm growing it again. Next is Isis Candy. It's as tasty as it is pretty, and it's very prolific, and this one lasted pretty late into the season. I removed the plant in late November, so I would like to grow this one again. Black Beauty made it into the lineup again. I was trying to stay away from the larger slicer tomatoes because they don't produce as much, but the flavor of this one is just so unique and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to give it another shot. especially with less competition in the raised bed it's in. And that's kind of the same situation with the Sart Rollois. I really liked it. It wasn't super productive, but I really liked the flavor, so I'm willing to give it some space in the garden again. Next is Yellow Pear. It's one I skipped on last year and I regretted it because while flavor-wise it's nothing special, it's really prolific, and if I need tomatoes for cooking or something where I just need a basic tomato and not a fancier tomato, this is a good one, so I'm bringing it back this year. Black Strawberry is another tomato that I am bringing back this year. I know a lot of people are divided on this one. It's a love it or hate it tomato, and it is really pretty, and I really did enjoy the flavor the first year that I grew it, but then it didn't perform well the second year, so I'd like to give this one another try, maybe third time's the charm. Next is Queen Aliquippa. This is supposed to be a green tomato, and this is a new one for me this year. I just thought that it sounded interesting, and each year I do like to try a couple of new varieties, so this is one of them for this year. Broad's Atomic Grape is one that I tried to grow 2 years ago, but the plant just didn't take off. I think it wasn't in a good spot in my garden, and also I did start the seeds for this one later than usual because I got it from a friend in a seed swap, but then I just never got around to trying it again, so I'll give it another try this year. It's another one of those tomatoes that I know people are divided on, but I haven't gotten to try it yet, so hopefully this year I can try them and make my own opinion on this variety. Next is Carbon. I've just heard good things about this variety, and I was given these seeds for free to try, so I might as well give them a try this year. The next and last tomato in my 2025 lineup is a controversial one, and it's the purple tomato. Now this one is GMO. It's been bioengineered to be this purple by taking genes from snapdragon flowers, which creates anthocyanins. So this tomato was engineered to be a really healthy tomato. I typically try to stay away from GMOs, but I just really liked the idea of a tomato having these health benefits, and I was also just curious to see the hype around them. Norfolk Healthy Produce is the company that sells the seeds. This is the only legit place to buy the seeds, and you aren't allowed to sell the seeds, plants, or fruit, and the seeds are supposed to stay in the United States. The seed pack was $20 plus shipping for 10 whole seeds, so there better be 10 seeds in this packet. I was going to pass on them, but my dad was interested, so we decided to split a pack of these seeds. A lot of people have said the flavor is just okay and isn't that great, while others have said it's amazing. So again, it's another tomato where you either really like it or you don't, but I can't wait to try it and see what I think. So if I'm counting correctly, that is 23 different tomato varieties and then 24 tomato plants, maybe 25 tomato plants, because I might try and grow 2 of the purple tomato as well as 2 of the black cherry tomatoes. So much for trying to have less tomato plants this year. However, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I will be doing a lot in containers. All of the varieties that are container friendly or are dwarf varieties will be in containers. They won't be in my raised beds. So hopefully my raised beds won't be too crowded this year so the other tomatoes have a chance to thrive. I'm always curious to know what other people are growing in their gardens, so let me know what tomato varieties you've chosen for your garden this year in the comments.